Ole Miss travels to Death Valley to face LSU in Week 4. Can the Rebs do the unthinkable and beat the Tigers? Let's take a look at LSU. The Tigers are the defending national champs, and they're coming off one of the greatest offensive performances in college football history. LSU went 15-0 last year, leading the nation in yards per game and points per game, scoring 42 or more in 12 of its 15 matchups. But most of the Tigers' talent from a season ago is gone, and that's not just on offense. LSU had 14 total players selected in this past NFL draft, and quite a few more are on NFL rosters as undrafted free agents. Plus, one of the most valuable coaches from last year's staff is also in the NFL. Joe Brady, the Tigers' passing game coordinator from a season ago, who was instrumental in turning quarterback Joe Burrow into a Heisman winner, is now the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. Scott Linehan, a former NFL head coach and offensive coordinator, takes over for Brady, but it does hurt to lose a bright offensive mind like Brady. Offensive coordinator Steve Ensminger is still with the Tigers, though, so that does make Linehan's job much easier. The biggest loss on this team is undoubtedly quarterback Joe Burrow. Burrow was selected number 1 overall in the 2020 NFL Draft, and now the Tigers look to redshirt junior quarterback Miles Brennan. It's a tough act to follow for Brennan. Joe Burrow had one of the greatest seasons by a college quarterback ever, but Brennan has shown flashes of being a good enough SEC quarterback, and his high school numbers speak for themselves. He still holds Mississippi's high school career records for total offense, passing touchdowns, and passing yards. He's got a big arm, and he's accurate, but Brennan seems a bit fragile. He's 6'4" and just around 207 pounds, so keeping Brennan safe is going to be a massive emphasis for LSU this season. It doesn't help that the Tigers lost 4 starters on the offensive line. Senior right tackle Austin Deculus is the only returning starter from a season ago. But this is LSU, and the Tigers have talented players to step up, like guard Ed Ingram and left tackle Dare Rosenthal, who's expected to be back for the fall after leaving school for personal reasons in the spring. If the line can protect Brennan, he's got plenty of big-name targets to get the ball to. Although Justin Jefferson and tight end Thaddeus Moss are gone, reigning Biletnikoff Award winner Jamar Chase is back. Chase caught 84 passes for more than 1,700 yards and 20 touchdowns a season ago. The Tigers also bring back Terrace Marshall, who hauled in 46 receptions for 671 yards and 13 touchdowns last season. LSU also added some solid weapons in its most recent recruiting class, including 5-star tight end Eric Gilbert, who's expected to play right away after becoming the first tight end to win the Football Gatorade National Player of the Year award. The offensive backfield definitely took a hit with Clyde Edwards-Helaire's departure. Helaire not only rushed for more than 1,400 yards and 16 TDs a year ago, but he also caught 55 passes for 453 yards and a touchdown. But this is LSU, and they always seem to have a stable of backs ready to step up. This year's no different. There's Tyrion Davis-Price, a bruising runner who was third on the team for 295 yards and 6 TDs a year ago. Former superstar recruit John Emery is back, and so is Chris Curry, who showed flashes of greatness in the Tigers' college football playoff win over Oklahoma. LSU's defense was top 30 in the nation a year ago, and that was good enough to get former coordinator Dave Aranda hired as Baylor's new head coach. So, Ed Orgeron went and hired former Nebraska head coach Bo Pelini to run the Tigers' defense. Pelini's changing the Tiger D from a 3-4 to a 4-3, which might help minimize the loss of 3 starting linebackers: Clavon Chason, who was more of an edge rusher, Patrick Queen, and Jacob Phillips. Despite those losses, LSU added top grad transfer linebacker Jabril Cox, who was an All-American at North Dakota State, and they've got some big names in the linebacking core like Damone Clark and Marcel Brooks, who are expected to step up this year. The D-line has some questions, but the Tigers have a mix of promising returners and some top recruits to use on Pelini's new 4-man front. Defensive end Glenn Logan is back, nose tackle Tyler Sheldon is coming off a productive 2019 campaign, and Siaki Ika, who played as a true freshman, should be even better. Then there's true freshmen Jaquelin Roy, Jacoby Guillory, and BJ Ojulari, all highly ranked prospects in the class of 2020. But the strength of the Tiger D is its secondary. Losing safety Grant Telpett and cornerback Christian Fulton definitely hurts, but LSU still has the top defensive back in all of college football, cornerback Derek Stingley. He was one of the top true freshmen in the country a season ago, earning All-American and All-SEC honors with 6 interceptions, 15 pass breakups, and 38 tackles. Then there's safety Jacoby Stephens, who's the Tigers' top returning tackler, and also the speedy Kerry Vincent Jr., who was second on the team with 4 interceptions a season ago. Elias Ricks, a 5-star in the class of 2020, will most likely start right away at the other cornerback spot, and there's also talented sophomore Mo Hampton, who should have a bigger role this season at the safety position. Okay, so I just threw out a lot of names there, but that just lets you know how much talent LSU still has, despite a record 14 players taken in the NFL draft. That's why it's hard for me to say Ole Miss can win this one. Like I said in my Auburn scouting report, the stretch that includes Auburn, LSU, and Alabama is going to be tough for an Ole Miss team that got no spring practices with a new coaching staff that early in the season. LSU actually got 3 spring practices. It's not a lot, but that's still more than the Rebs got. That's not to say Ole Miss can't make this one interesting. Just look at what John Rice Plumlee did to that Tiger defense a year ago. Just saying. For the Ole Miss Spirit, I'm Studio Upadea.